First of all, I think that we would like to know how you got into FinOps. How did you hear about it first time? How you get into this?
Yeah, it was sort of by accident. So I've been doing FinOps, I think, for a little over 10 years now. I was at Microsoft. I spent 13 years at Microsoft, and I had kind of started as a build engineer, kind of going up through the ranks to do resource management, IT, asset management, and then build. I was doing a lot of build engineering, and I had sort of matured in my career up to the point of owning data centers. And I was doing a data center migration project, kind of as a project manager. And halfway through our migration project to move to a new data center, Azure became really popular. And we are like, okay, IT leadership wanted us to stop moving everything to new data centers and move to the cloud instead. So we had this big lift and shift project that they wanted me to project manage. And I started migrating a significant portion of non-production workloads to cloud. And as I'm migrating these things, I'm looking at these VMs, these instances, and I'm like, wow, I remember building these 5, 10 years ago, early in my career when I was a junior build engineer. And I'm like, nobody's using these. This is a waste of money. This is so inefficient. And so I went to leadership and I'm like, hey, we shouldn't be migrating these. This is not an efficient use of time. And they're like, hey, we have lease renewals. We have to get out of these buildings by a certain time. Just go, just do it anyway. And I'm like, all right, but I want you to promise me after this project is over, I can do an audit and build a dashboard to show all of the waste. And they said, okay, fine. So we migrated out of the data center. We got out with like 12 hours to spare before the lease renewal was due. So it was pretty hectic. And then true to their word, they supported me in building a dashboard and set of reports to show waste and right sizing opportunities for VMs. And this was like 2014 timeframe. So I built this dashboard and went around to the different business units and worked with them to understand the data and to go take and capture that waste, that money. And it was extremely successful. We saved over, I don't know how many figures, 9 figures in a month, in a year. And it was so successful that we started adding more features to the dashboard and more visibility and more recommendations and ways to save money. We implemented a project called Screen Test, where it would automatically turn off servers if they hadn't been used for 30 days and things like that. And it got me so excited, and we just continued to build and build and build more features because they had such high ROI and helped organizations really get the most out of cloud spend. And then I sort of like look back on that time and I was like, wow, I was kind of doing product management even back then, but also leading a FinOps practice before the FinOps word even existed. And so that matured and I went and I joined Turbonomic and I spent 4 years there redesigning and working on their right sizing engine and the automation capabilities there. And I've been at AWS leading the optimization product team for the last 3 years or so. And so the journey has sort of matured and extended, but what's interesting is it's the same problems. We're still talking about right sizing, still talking about recommendation, still talking about waste cleanup, and 10 years in the same conversations. But I mean, they have changed in maturity and execution, but the problems haven't really changed. So it's fascinating.
From 2014, wow, like 5 years before the FinOps Foundation started. And well, talking about the FinOps Foundations, today I found out that you have a role there. Can you tell us a little bit about it? And what is it?
Absolutely. I sit on the technical advisory council of the foundation. And in the council, we all meet on a regular basis to talk about the framework, to look at feedback, look at where the industry is going. The council has representatives from all the major cloud providers. It has practitioners. It has representatives from a few of the big third-party products as well, for the FinOps products as well. So we want to make sure that it has like a really well-rounded set of opinions in there, so we can all really provide tons of checks and balances and have a lot of opinions that we can figure out and make sure we're serving the practitioner communities. It's a fun role. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the foundation a lot. I think the folks in the foundation are fantastic and just a pleasure to work with.
What do you think is going to be the problems of the next 5 years, for example, in FinOps? Because you said the problems are repeated all over again, and the right sizing opportunities and all this stuff, it's been there forever. But do you think it's going to be new problems? And if you do so, which ones are going to appear in the next, I don't know, 3-5 years?
I think optimization will evolve. I think the core parts of it will have a lot of similarities in the next 5 years. I think we'll still see recommendations. I think we'll need to continue to see recommendations evolve as far as context and accuracy goes.
Mhm.
Right now, recommendations are technically accurate. From a mathematical and scientific perspective, we've gotten to the point where they're not wrong. They won't hurt things, right? From CPU, memory, disk network, I/O, throughput, inventory, CPU performance metrics. These are all in our right sizing models now. And we've gotten to a point where an engineer looking at a recommendation can't really point to a reason why they're wrong unless there's context that is not factored in. Say, I'm running SAP and it has a certain instance type that it requires, or if you have other business requirements or application context requirements that need to be factored in. So I think that's a big part of it. Automation is certainly something that is going to continue to evolve. We've had automation in the industry for a long time now. Again, back to Turbo. Turbo's been doing automation for years and years and years. I think we're going to start seeing automation become a little bit more adopted. I think as more companies get past the visibility maturity curve and really start to understand their unit costs or cost per business, whether that's business unit or app team or org structure, what have you, that visibility is required. It's really hard to optimize something if you don't know who owns what and what it does, right?
Mhm.
And as more companies find that maturity on visibility, we're going to see optimization really gain some more legs. And I think a lot of companies, to circumvent this need for technical understanding of these resources and the architecture side, they really focus on commitment optimization
Mhm.
in just great adoption, maturity, and commitment optimization for savings plans and RIs and all of these sorts of things. But really, that's only half of the puzzle, right? Resource optimization, utilization optimization, architecture optimization, the amount of savings and cost efficiency we can get out of that side of the optimization game is comparable. I consider them kind of two halves of the whole, and we have to do both together. And so, that 5-year vision is a more complete and mature set of resource utilization optimization capabilities, and seeing customers really take that more seriously and have programs that are much more focused on end-to-end resource configuration and optimization. And it's not just like deleting unused resources. It's about, hey, there's 900 instance sizes in AWS. Which one are you going to use? And it's not just go to the next generation. It's a deep, strong understanding of the performance differences of each family and the right fit. So there's a lot of maturity to go get. And again, like we said, same conversation. Which instance type do you use? It's the same question we've been asking and attempting to answer for a decade now. And I'm excited to move past it. This is one of the things we tried to do. We launched a bunch of stuff in the last few weeks. We launched in Compute Optimizer a bunch of new idle recommendations. This one was fun because the 2024 survey data from the FinOps Foundation, the number one issue was, or focus area for practitioners was waste cleanup. And the number two is commitment management. So what did we launch this year? Number one, we launched a new consolidated idle cleanup capability in Compute Optimizer. And number two, we launched a brand new savings plan analyzer commitment tool to do all of the analysis for you on your commitments. So boom, the top two most important and largest amount of time spent for FinOps teams, we just launched products. So hopefully the next survey, those aren't the top two things that they focus on because we've automated them and we built tooling around them, right?